Hi guys, I'm Lori.
I'm David.
And this is Mermaid and Jedi Adventures. We decided to film a little bit of a bonus video this week due to the lack of quality in our other two videos that we uploaded, unfortunately.
Yeah. We recorded in HD. We uploaded in HD. When we went back to watch the playbacks, it was 480p. And
we were mistaken.
What the hell is this? This is crap. So this is basically a bonus video to work out the kinks and get this, working smoothly.
We're also still trying to figure out where the best place is to film, lighting-wise, and we're probably always going to be filming in the evening just to the nature of our job, so it's not like we have a lot of natural lighting options.
Yeah, so if you were familiar with making videos on YouTube, let us know in the comments to give us some suggestions. We're very new at this, so.
Absolutely. Okay, so the video we decided to make today was pretty much, we thought about it a little bit and we decided, let's talk about what we love about Disney World and what we love about Disneyland.
Yep, there's basically, it's not really a pros and cons video.
Yeah.
There's really no cons to Disneyland, Disney World.
They're both wonderful.
If you're having a con on a Disney trip, something's wrong.
Yeah. I mean, due to circumstances or travel, being tired, I understand it. But the actual experiences of Disneyland and Disney World are both awesome and magical.
Yep.
So first we're going to talk about the top 5 things that we love about Disneyland.
Yes. So the first thing we like at Disneyland is the hotels are within walking distance of Disneyland.
Basically, how it's set up is in Anaheim is that you have Disney-like hotels on the Disneyland property. So you've got Disneyland Hotel, you have Paradise Pier Hotel, and you have the Grand Californian Hotel. Now those hotels are great and wonderful and full of Disney magic, however they're also very expensive. So all along the streets that sort of surround Disney and California Adventure, there's West Catella, South Harbor Boulevard, and a lot of others sort of in the surrounding blocks. There's scads and scads and tons of just hotel properties to stay at. So we've stayed at 2. We've stayed at the Anaheim Camelot Resort, and we've also stayed at the Castle Inn. Yep. Both were wonderful, and both were 5 minutes walking distance to the front gates of Disneyland, which you really can't complain about.
And also a good thing about the hotels is if you have a special room, you can see the fireworks from your balcony, basically.
When we stayed at the Camelot Inn, we didn't realize this when we booked at the time, but we went up to the 3rd floor, and we opened our balcony, and we were staring at the Matterhorn. You could see the Matterhorn, you could see a little bit of Space Mountain, and just sort of the bit of the castle in the background. So when the fireworks went off, they were right across the street from our balcony. It was awesome. So sort of along a similar vein of sort of convenience of having hotels really close by or 5 minutes walking distance, that leads into our second point.
Yep, in addition to the hotels, there are several restaurants nearby within walking distance of Disneyland. Yeah,
there's lots of different types of everything from pizza to buffet, steak, pancakes, you name it. There's also lots of different little convenience stores. There's 7-Eleven, CVS, so you can stock up your fridge and your Disney bag with granola bars, water, pop, whatever you'd like for your hotel room. Captain Kids is...
Yep. Captain Kids is kind of like a buffet, kind of almost right across the street from Disneyland. Yep. They have a great selection for a buffet. It's I find the quality of food really good.
Yep. Good quality and pretty cheap, especially if you go for lunch, and then that's your big meal of the day. And you can also walk it off then too.
Yeah, they also have a breakfast buffet, but we haven't gone to that one. Yeah. We just went to the lunch and dinner ones.
Our third thing that we love about Disneyland is also another restaurant. It's the Blue Bayou.
Yep.
So the Blue Bayou is a restaurant inside of Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, it's kind of like at the front of the Pirates of the Caribbean when the ride starts. You kind of it's kind of like candlelight light. When you're on the ride, you kind of see it on the right hand side. What we like about it is it's kind of a good scene. It's kind of fun to see people on the ride while you're eating, and if you're having a big group in a ride, they'll start yelling and high fiving or hey yay kind of thing. So it's kind of fun to have that happen.
Yeah, the food is good. It's kind of entertaining, and just the theming is wonderful with the bio theming as well.
Yeah, and I think it's a good kind of good. I think last time we had there we had the gumbo.
Yeah, gumbo, and I had
jambalaya. I had jambalaya. You had shrimp or something.
sandwich.
Oh yeah, you had a sandwich.
I can't remember what Monte Cristo is
Yeah.
that what it's called? It's a famous sandwich with like dips. It was basically like a grilled ham and cheese with different jams and associating other stuff. Delicious.
Yep.
Associated other stuff, I should say.
That was
So
fun,
number
yeah.
4, the thing that we love about it, it's not actually at Disneyland. It's at Disney California Adventure, DCA, and that's the World of Color.
Yep.
So the World of Color is a nighttime spectacular show. There is jets of water, fire, color, music, different projected images on the water. It's just basically amazing.
Yeah. The kind of World of Color has uses Mickey's Fun Wheel. There's a memory game that you play on your smartphone that you can, if you win, you can control the lights. I'm not really sure how exactly it works because you need the app on your phone, and if you're from Canada, you have to pay for data. So we didn't really pay for the data, so we couldn't really get to access the World of Color.
That's Merlin. If you hear that in the background ever, sorry.
Yeah, Merlin is pretty much. You could consider Merlin the mascot and kind of, well, he's also the boss of Mermaid and Jedi Adventures. But Merlin is kind of he's a big fan of Disney. Unfortunately, he's not able to go, but he definitely loves Disney, and hopefully he'll give us some what he likes about Disneyland.
Okay.
He
Hopefully
says
now he calms down a little bit. So the last thing that we love about Disneyland is ART, or the Anaheim Resort Transit, which is the bus system sort of around Anaheim. It's not just to Disney, but it's to
other theme parks. I think like Knott's Berry Farm.
Wet n Wild, there's outlets on Orange, different shopping centers.
Yeah.
Also, you can go to if you are one of the resorts that's a little bit farther away, a couple of blocks, then you can also take that sort of to and from.
It's basically if you don't want to rent a car and you just want to be with the hotels being so close and the ART, you can get around and do a few other things when you're at Disneyland without having to worry about renting a car.
Exactly. So now we're going to move into what we love about Disney World. Disney World, number one thing probably is just like the size and the amount of parks.
Yeah.
So when you're at Disney World, you have 4 different parks.
Plus the water parks.
Plus water parks and a couple of the mini golf areas as well. There's also Disney Springs, which was downtown Disney, and then also 27 or something plus different resorts on property as well. Basically, it's gigantic. It's a small city in itself.
Yeah, and with 4 theme parks, I love what I like about it is each theme park has a distinct visual style that's kind of different from each one.
So yeah, basically each part of the 4 parks is a different theme. Magic Kingdom, magic.
Yep.
Classic Disney, Fantasyland, just sort of like what you think of as that, wow factor, little kid, smiling ear to ear. It's just that Disney park magic. Then you have Animal Kingdom. Animal Kingdom is great. There's lots of animals there. There's the Kilimanjaro safaris. There's also Rafiki's conservation station that has an animal, like a petting zoo there, and you learn about animals. It's all about the animals.
Yeah, it's kind of like animals and kind of like African markets kind of thing.
Yeah, there's African markets. There's Asia. They also have the Lion King musical there as well, which is awesome. Also, another thing about Animal Kingdom is that on April the 22nd of 2016, they're going to be having the Rivers of Light opening up, so that's going to be a sort of a visual spectacular of lights and lanterns and music and jets of water and stuff, which will be great. Another thing is in the next couple of years they're going to be opening up Pandora. I don't know if it's going to be called Pandora or Avatar Land. I'm not too sure what it's going to be
probably
called.
Probably called Pandora because I think Avatar Land sounds a little bit weird, but
but it's basically the world of Avatar will be added to the park. So then we have Epcot. Epcot is kind of broken into 2 different parks
kind of
within
like,
a park.
Kind of what the future would look like, and a world showcase.
Yeah. So then we also have our last park, which is Hollywood Studios.
Yep.
Somebody's favorite.
Hollywood Studios has several Star Wars attractions. They just opened a lunch bay with props from the new movie and meeting some of the cast. That's where Star Tours is. They're expanding it to basically make it more
Star Wars.
More Star Wars-y, more rides, more attractions. There's also Toy Story, and it's kind of feels like more of a movie set with a great movie ride and. A few
That's
other.
definitely the Hollywood, the studios part
Yeah,
of it. Is
it
definitely
definitely feels
there.
like it kind of. Some spots definitely feel like a movie studio.
Will they still call it Hollywood Studios? I don't know. I mean, it was MGM, then it was Hollywood Studios. Now with Star Wars adding, who knows? Maybe they'll change it to something else.
Yeah, maybe
but-
something else, but
So, our next number 2 on our list for Walt Disney World of things that we love about Walt Disney World.
it's the entrance to the Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
It's basically it is magical. It's
Yeah.
you get into either a ferry or a monorail.
Yeah.
When you're taking the ferry, you're seeing the castle coming up. Basically, it makes me feel like a kid when I see that castle.
Yeah. You could also take the monorail, and if you take the monorail, you go through some of the deluxe resorts. You see the Polynesian, you see the Grand Floridian, and you actually drive through the Contemporary, which is kind of cool to drive through a hotel.
Especially during Christmas time.
Yeah.
Last year we saw the trees kind of thing they did
All
up.
decorated up.
Probably we'll see it again for Halloween, see what they look like for decorations.
Also-
even when it's not Christmas or Halloween,
Yeah.
it's still fun to see those
Yeah.
hotels.
And like being on the monorail, it's just, it's cool. You're on a high speeding like air, train above the ground that moves very fast. Also, if it's a little bit cooler, if it's at the end of the day and you're kind of cool, or if it was raining, it's nice to just sort of be enclosed in the monorail. So then we also have, this kind of leads into our third point.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit, which is the Disney bubble. The Disney bubble is something that you understand, like sometimes you'll hear about it, but you don't fully understand it until you stay on property.
Yeah, I think the best way to describe it is kind of, this is Disneyland, this is Disney property, this is Orlando.
Yeah,
You kind of know when you kind of cross the line, you're in the bubble.
absolutely. It's one of those things that it has so much to do with the people that work at Walt Disney World. And staying on property, you get that experience of, it's Disney at your hotel room. It's Disney when you're, getting from point A to point B. You're eating at Disney restaurants, you're shopping at Disney places, you're going to downtown Disney, you're going to theme parks. Everything is Disney. So it's this magical sort of bubble where, the outside world doesn't exist. You can sort of leave your cares at the door and just really, truly experience that Disney bubble.
Yeah, and especially another good thing is if you're staying on property, you can buy a bunch of stuff at the stores.
Yes.
And have it shipped to your hotel room.
That is awesome. If you want that big mug, if you want that popcorn bucket, if you want that, big beach towel or some 4-foot stormtrooper or something like that, or if it's just a matter of like David got his cell phone case. He got a Star Wars cell phone case personalized, so it took a while for them to do the laser jets. So rather than waiting for a couple hours, we just had it sent back to the hotel the next day.
Yeah, it would have taken 2 hours for it to print.
Yeah.
At that point, if we had to wait for it, we probably would have not bought it.
Yeah.
But with it being
it was a hot, tiring day.
Yeah, it was the fact that it was like, hey, we'll leave it to you at the pickup at your resort. It's like, okay, do it up and we'll pick it up in a day. It was great.
Exactly. And so our next thing is affordable resorts. The resorts, it's so funny because we mentioned hotels or resorts for pros for both Disneyland and Disney World. Disneyland, great, there are affordable, well, it has to do with the size of Disneyland and Disney World. Disneyland, it's great that there's stuff across the street. It takes you 5 minutes to get there. Disney World, I can't even imagine how long it would take you to walk from one point to the other. That's why the bus system is so great. But, it's definitely, a matter of affordability, or the size of your party maybe will determine whether you're staying on property or not. We've done both. You still have a wonderful time if you're staying off property. However, you really do get into that Disney bubble if you stay on property. Things are a little bit easier to get to, and just with Disney World, I think I'd mentioned before, Disneyland does have the 3 resorts. They're very pricey to stay at. At Disney World, there's 3 different levels. You have your value resorts, you have your moderate resorts, and you also have your deluxe resorts. We're going to be talking probably about those a little bit more as we get closer to the date when we book our October trip, and because we're going to be staying on a moderately priced resort this time for a week. So we'll talk a little bit more about the differences there, but it is nice that you can, there are different price points of staying on actually staying on the Disney property, and it can be quite affordable.
All right, and we got our kind of final thing for Disney World is the castle at Magic Kingdom.
Absolutely.
It's bigger than the one at Disneyland. It's awesome when it's lit up at night. It basically, once you see it, it's kind of, it's wonderful.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with the Disneyland castle. It is a little bit smaller. You know, you can walk through it. That's cool. It's definitely full of Disney magic. But there's something just breathtaking about walking into the, the Disney World, walking into Magic Kingdom, and, walking up Main Street, and just all you see, from one frame to the other is just castle. Or, taking the ferry boat over.
Yeah.
And, you're coming across, and then at a certain point, what's that in the distance? It's the castle all lit up, and you just get excited about it. It's just beautiful.
All right, and also I have an honorable mention for Disneyland and Disney World.
These are our bonus things that we were talking about.
So the honorable mention for Disneyland.
Honorable mention for Disneyland is the Indiana Jones ride. I know that the sister ride is Dinosaur, however, I do not like Dinosaur because it whipped me around like a rag doll and hurt my back.
Yep.
Disneyland has the Indiana Jones ride, and I do understand, the ride itself is sort of a Jeep ride. It's very similar, kind of jerky, going around. But the thing that just makes that Indiana Jones ride spectacular is actually the queue. The line, the theming while you're waiting in line. There's everything from, you feel like you're walking through...
you're walking through the temple.
You're walking through the temple. You're walking through an adventure. There's actually like little hidden messages that you can decode on the wall, and just sort of like, don't touch this, but then you do and something happens, and it's just wonderful in terms of theming. And then Disney World.
All right, for Disney World, it's because the ride's not in Disneyland anymore.
Ding, ding.
Laura's super excited. It's the People Mover.
I love the People Mover.
Yeah, but if you're unaware, the People Mover is pretty much a kind of slow-moving ride around Tomorrowland. You kind of go through Space Mountain, a few other things.
Lilo and Stitch, Carousel of Progress, and then just a lot of outdoors. You're sort of like up to 2 stories on tracks, just sort of looking out on Tomorrowland.
Yeah, the good thing about the People Mover is it's a very long ride. It's about 7 minutes, so it's like one of the longest rides I think at Disney World.
Yeah.
Another good thing is there's very little lines. It's like you can pretty much get on it at any, it's like almost, when it's working, it's like you walk up the escalator and you're on.
It's kind of like the Little Mermaid Under the Sea Adventure, or Finding Nemo, or to a certain extent, like the Haunted Mansion. It's like one of those continuously moving trams, so you're not going to have the same weight as you would for other rides.
Yeah.
Because it's nice, kind of nice and long. You can sit down, put your feet up, and just sort of like, you still feel like you're doing something Disney, and having some fun, but you're actually just sitting down and relaxing for a few minutes.
Mm-hmm. And if you go at evening, you can also get a good view of the fireworks while in the People Mover.
Absolutely. So that's our what we love about Disneyland and Disney World video. I hope you enjoyed this little bonus video. So please like, comment, and subscribe down below.
And let us know what you'd like to see in the future.
And also, please feel free to comment. We'd love it if you would comment, what you love about Disneyland or what you love about Disney World. We'd love to see that and see what your ideas are. So, so we'll have a new video out in a week or so. If not sooner, we'll see. We still haven't worked out the schedule thing yet. But, we hope to see you back here for our next video. Thanks, and take care.
Take care.